we go. We're off to a very good start. Now let's see. I have a little music here at first, just to put you to sleep, and then my apologies to all of the pictures of you that I was unable to. There we are. When you're doing the 25-year anniversary, there is a lot of research that you have to go through, and I dug very deep into our archives. We have very good, well-kept records, so it's not hard to do. But I felt that it was really necessary for this club to go way, way back. And so we got to the Neanderthal original group. And I just got to tell you, some of those people are still living in the shadow of Mount Diablo here. Now, if you're wondering about history, there is one. It was about 2 pages long. It was written by Jack Selway. This was in the newspaper. That Selway in the center, that's Tay to his left, and a few other people who you could read the caption. This only proves that we don't know the date of the charter dinner, but we do know that we have the longest name in all of Rotary. Rotary, Lamorinda, Sunrise, Lafayette, Moorock, Orinda, and Rossmore. We have a lot of firsts. We'll come to that. These were the first 3 presidents. Selway on the right, Tay in the middle. Now, when you're starting a club, you got to ask, what kind of club do we want? Fun people. We want to have decisive leadership. No mealy-mouthed presidents for us. And we want to do important work for poor people overseas in need, like people who need bridges. More about that a little bit later. Do you want a young club or a mature club? Do you want a club that's on the side of the law? Or do you want to bring in gangster elements in the neighborhood? Actually, we prefer to have rather eccentric members in this club. We were not going to have cliques, friends of friends of friends of friends like that. But diversity was talked about. Now, probably not that much diversity, but I want you to know that brought in the first woman member. Now, I'm not sure that's the first woman member, but we had the first pole dancer. I'm just kidding, not at all. We had the first woman president, as you've heard, and Susan Wade went on to be the first governor in the district. And she should have certainly gotten the Golden Joan of Arc Award for that, but I don't know why she didn't. We found out that working with women in the club, they're just as competitive as men. They're just as hard to get along with as men. The problem is the expectation of the men members for a new woman member is more like this, but instead, we got barred foreign fees. Okay, this brings us to the whole idea of leadership. These are the first 10 presidents of the club. And the reason we were able to get such good presidents in the beginning was we used a template of Napoleon, but sometimes instead we got Harpo Marx. But let's just talk about leadership. We've had timid leaders. We've had shouters and screamers. We've had leaders who had no followers. We've had sarcastic leaders. We've had killer leaders. I mean, you gotta say, most all of them have been killer. One of the best was Joanne Lucier here, who wanted to build a bridge overseas, like I mentioned. Not this bridge in France, but this bridge in Tanzania. And she traveled there 2 or 3 times over seeing that and working with the local people. That bleeds us into projects. I think our first project was building the deck for the Los Trampas people. This is a before picture. I don't know what the after picture looks like. But here was the first annual housewarming project just before that tree in the upper right-hand corner fell on them. This was sort of a reoccurring problem we had. This flagpole, somebody will be able to tell you that story, but they pulled that flagpole right over on top of the people on the right-hand side. So we've had a lot of success. One of our greatest successes, and Ask George, is a youth exchange program. Our first was this lady from Australia, Shannon Mahoney. It was so successful, and the club was so enthusiastic that we asked if we could adopt a whole family of orphans. This is the Lopez family from Guatemala. Here's Joan and some others, Katrina. We got into the flood business there for a while, and John found a flood, and we sent $1,500 to it. There was some rumor afterwards that his cousin owned the Dairy Queen. I'm just kidding, John. That we've had friendship exchange programs, this one in Denmark. This is the first picture of Don Reichert blushing. Yes, there was rain too in Denmark. This was, that notable famous project that George started, and we're still doing it. Other projects were project at Lafayette School, and the beer and wine floats, and the Motorama. This is painting at the garden parks. Okay, meetings are really important. You know that. I mean, you're at one right now. Finding a place to have a meeting was tough for us at first. Kay considered this as a good thing, but we moved into the basement of the Veterans Hall. You remember that?
It never looked that good.
Well, we were surprised that nobody showed up, and then we figured out, well, we got to have some food. So we hired Rose. Rose, our favorite. And so more members started showing up with that going on. We needed inspirational speakers. We needed diversity. Here's Navajo code talkers. Nobody could understand them. We had one of the first feminist speakers. So we're not afraid of controversy. And there was Rotary leader seized. That was the first demotion. There was a thing about the bear who was kidnapped. Now you have to ask Skip that story about the bear. Okay, we started in the Veterans Hall. They tore it down, so we moved into this place. Moving right along through history, you can't pass up the Reno train as one of the most exciting things that we ever did. It was so. That's Rich Shear telling jokes to people. There was naturally a little bit of poker being played and meeting new friends along the way. George was most famous for the chicken in the pot. There he is launching a rubber chicken into the pot. He was so good he was 86th. We got so many trophies that trip and other trips. We had all of these to bring home to the fellow club members. There were other fellowship things like a boat trip that I have no idea who's there and where they're going. Fellowship in the kitchen there. Ask Bob Reed what's going on there. And we had Halloween things. I've found a lot of I've only put in just a few of these things. It's a tradition we don't do anymore, but you can see why. You could probably go through there and name all those people. Another tradition we've lost is that joke thing on well, there we are, raffle tickets to shave day. Now, we haven't changed it all. The only way we can tell passage of time is our members' kids, how young they were when they started. Now, I'll give a nickel to anybody can tell what George is doing there. That's right. He's telling the Archibald story. Some gala event, that's Brad back there, and international events that we went to. There's just been a lot of things that have happened through the years, but what about the future? Well, I would say it would be more and better food. It would be more and better pictures. And I think better programs with more attentive members. But, you know, probably we really need some dynamic leadership to come down from above. But we know that will not happen. So, as we look to the next 25 years, I think you guys have to accept the responsibility that it's up to you. Your ideas and your participation. Thank you very much.